What would you say to someone who's watching this who maybe is like, I might want to partner with Restora Funding and send people in my network to this company? What would you say to that person if they're kind of on the edge about that?
I would say take the leap. I mean, and all I can say and all I can say is speaking from my experience. From my experience, you guys have been like just I'm the best option that I can think of to send my clients to, and know that you guys are going to treat them with velvet gloves. So not only with velvet gloves, but also get them the best options out there. So I would say what I said before, sometimes it's a little bit scary to work with people in terms of the financial sector. And you really want to everybody should be keep a little bit of skepticism, but when it comes to you guys, I am happy that I've been able to just take that chip off my shoulder and trust that you guys are able to really knock it out of the park. And yeah, I live by my reputation, so you can yeah, that's my word.
I do want to mention some of the clients who we have been able to work with you. So I listed a few out, just a handful. I know that um, we worked with Adele, we worked with Jasmari. Jasmari, we were able to get over $100,000 in funding for, all at 0% interest as well, by the way. Daniel, we got Daniel over $81,000 in funding. We worked with Vicky. We got Vicky over almost $50,000 in funding, 49K to be exact, was where we decided to stop at. And then we worked with Traverse as well. We got Traverse, I think 125,000 flat in funding at 0% interest. And all of these clients, most of these clients, they only took like a few weeks, and we were able to get them pretty far in. So, in terms of like your relationship with these clients, if you're aware, I would love for you to just speak a little bit on like how this funding has changed their experience and help them flourish in their business and in their lives.
Sure. So in general, I find this as one of the coolest options for a student, just because in order to get these 0% cards, I mean, I feel like they're one of the most premium products out there. And some of my clients are taking on all sorts of different, maybe even loans or heat locks or different types of funding services in order to like purchase a home or go rent a home, etc. So for example, even like Travers was, he's purchasing this home, and a lot of it other expenses and heat locks and this and that are coming uh into the mix, but having a solution where all of the furnishings of the home, so, the renovations of the home can be done under 0% terms is just really powerful. So it's been able to kind of propel him forward in a way that saves him a lot of money, and just helps get him that much further, so then he can scale into even more and more homes. So speaking of more homes, even Vicky, for example, she has picked up four properties, basically four properties at once. So she's had a lot of need to be able to, just find capital to be able to give her the fuel to to furnish these homes,
Mhm.
and just get everything under wraps, because sometimes we find ourselves in spots where we just need to spend more money. We need to expend more until you just keep spending until you don't need to, especially on like a renovation project or stuff like that. So that's been the case with a lot of clients, and I'm glad that I have you guys to be able to help loosen up those funds for them in the best way, so then that we can complete the projects and just be scaling more and more.
To kick this off, and just as an introduction, do you want to kind of just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I am a short-term rental operator. So I do Airbnb, and I do it kind of creatively in multiple ways, whether it be purchasing to then Airbnb, renting other people's properties to then do Airbnb, which is called arbitrage, or property managing other people's properties to then do Airbnb. So I have been doing that for about 5 years now. I've built up a portfolio close to around 30 homes, based in kind of the South Florida area, mainly, and just been doing that and scaling that business. And just about a year ago, I hopped a little bit online, cultivating a little bit of a presence online to essentially teach people how to scale the same type of business, an Airbnb business. So really find it really amazing, the coaching space and the info product space, honestly, because at the end of the day, we can connect with people. And I would consider myself a people person rather than making money in private, I would say. So it's been a lot of fun, but it's very relational. So I it's very important. I am clear on who I work with, who I want to connect to, both, in numbers wise, but also even energy wise. So really, that's kind of what I'm doing and space I'm in, and looking to really organically grow the Airbnb portfolio, as well as really take the coaching business to a new level and bring on more and more clients that we can help them get into their first profitable Airbnb property.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. We've worked together for quite some time now. If you can remember back when you initially started working with Restora Funding for your clients' funding needs, what made you like want to become a partner of ours initially?
Well, I will say that, um, to be very transparent, we were connected through a mutual connection. And I think that at the end of the day, particularly with these types of topics where we're talking about lending and financial decisions in general, in this, world, we're often a little bit adverse to working with anybody, in terms of these things. And it's very hard to trust somebody saying, coming at us out of nowhere, "Hey, I'll get you $100,000." Like, well, I don't know about that. So I followed. Uh, I just got. I followed a really good connection to you, and I want to work with people that I know, like, and trust. Really, at the end of the day, and that has been your team, you and your team, really, and wouldn't want to go. And yeah, I just want to put that out there as like, it's a little bit scary to get funding for yourself or for clients, etc. And really having somebody solid that you can send people to and know that they're in good hands, and professional as well, is really cool. So that was another thing. You guys are incredible with your customer service and your ability to like consult a client, one of my clients, and talk through their situation with them, advise them, and then fund them in the best way possible, in a professional and good way that is, you have their best intention in mind, I would say. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of leads into the next thing I wanted to ask you as well is like, um, how has it been working with us so far? I mean, I know that you and me have worked together on funding for some of your projects. You've obviously sent us some of your clients as well, and just generally people in your network. I don't know if they've given you any kind of feedback on working with us. But from your perspective, it sounds like you find it's been professional. We've been able to really consult people and optimize them for funding. And then on the funding side of things, the actual service, we're also able to perform. It sounds like is what you think. Is there anything else there that maybe you should say?
Yeah, I will say that I'm really glad that you guys have been able to help just my students, and my students and my clients and everything, just because, I mean, it's a long process, not a long process. It's a process to get somebody into an Airbnb, and having a partner that I can refer my clients to. to be able to get funding is just so important. It's an integral part of the entire equation, and the fact that I've been able to send multiple students over to you guys to be able to get those wins, and funding that they need to then proceed down the path of getting them these Airbnbs has been huge. And we've had wins across the board, and it is changing people's lives.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like for a business owner, especially someone like yourself, if you are someone who works with business owners frequently, if you're like a coach and you're teaching something that can be a little bit capital intensive, if you're a CPA or a bookkeeper or like a commercial mortgage broker, having funding as a tool in your arsenal, especially like 0% interest funding, it just seems like a no-brainer. You can offer it to other people in your network who maybe they just need working capital, or, if you have students like yourself and you need to basically train them on how to get their first Airbnb or other short-term rental property up and running, they're going to need funding to do that, right? And so I would imagine in your position, it's probably a little bit hard to imagine a coaching business like yours without having a turnkey funding solution, because that's one of the first steps in the process to making it all happen, right?
Agreed. Yeah. One of the first, yeah, like I said, one of the first super important parts. I mean, because right when that happens, then we can decide what type of moves we want to make. So, if somebody is not lent that much, okay, well, we have to go for a more modest property. If somebody is lent a good amount of money, okay, we can go for even better property with better returns. So, also not only having a trusted partner, but somebody, a funding partner that's not only trusted, but also somebody that's good at what they're doing so that they can provide these clients really high limits, and really good deals. So then I have, something better to work with,
Yeah,
you know.
completely. I completely understand that. And yeah, absolutely. So in terms of like the future of working together, I mean, I can speak a little bit on this. Like, I've really loved working with you so far. Everyone you've sent has been so easygoing. We've been able to do a lot of good work for a lot of these people. And, it's been really helpful for my business as well. So it's awesome to like kind of see as time goes on, like how this funding is able to change people's lives. But I'm personally just really excited to keep getting to know more people in your network. I want to keep seeing your coaching business succeed. I want to keep, working with more people who you're sending me, because that's showing me how much success you're having as well. So that's kind of like what I'm looking forward to. And I also am excited to see you keep traveling and going to places like Medellin, because that's amazing, man. Like, I want to do the same thing. I got a few loose ends to tie up here real quick, and then I'll be right out there with you. But um, what about you? Like, what are you looking to accomplish with this partnership in the future?
Sure. So I I guess I'm trying to find a way to scale and automate and systematize my business in the best way possible. And that is only possible by one, tech, and two, people. Right. So I, you know, I even had a mentor tell me today, simple scales, complicated fails. So oftentimes we want to do everything ourselves. We think we can do it all alone. We think we don't need anybody else. We think, oh, they're going to charge me this little percentage. I'm going to go figure it out myself. And then we don't get it done. And months go by, etc. So I think that I want to continue scaling my business up on, and have it on the up and up, but also have partners like you guys that I can be referring my clients to and taking care of that process to only streamline it that much more. So I can focus on what I do best, which is teaching Airbnb, and I can send you guys the people that really need the funding and know that you're having their best interest in mind.
I love that. Yeah. Simple scales, complicated fails. And I feel like that's really smart, because you don't want to get caught up doing everything at once, and you might even think like, oh yeah, I can do funding, I can go introduce people to Chase, whatever. Um, And then, the nuances come in and you find that things are a little bit more complicated than they seem. That's going to be true with starting a short-term rental unit. That's going to be true with starting a coaching business. That's going to be true with being a funding specialist like myself. And one thing I find in business too, and I totally agree with, is like stay in your lane. Like all you need to do is be really good at one thing and then just run that up, optimize that. There's a lot of things that I could do because I have a general knowledge of, and, I could offer within my business. But even those things like credit repair, for example, I have partners who do credit repair because I know that I have a general knowledge of it. I could probably learn it. But I'm not the master of it. So I'm going to send people who are, the master of credit repair. Not that I'm like the master of funding, but maybe
Yeah.
self-proclaimed master, right? Trying to
I get
be.
you. Yeah,
Um,
no, you have to have that mentality.
yeah,
Imagine that you're the best in it, otherwise you never will.
yeah, exactly. And speak it into existence. Well,
Mhm.
um, yeah, Sebastian, well, hey man, I really, really appreciate you as a partner. We value you so much. I appreciate you getting on this and doing this with me.